Hello everyone and welcome to another video of the Sky channel. In this video I'm going to be showing you my build for Deacon Armstrong, a very powerful epic champion that has multiple uses, primarily debuffing the enemies as well as making sure that your team hits much more often than the enemy team. Let's start by going through his skills. Skill number 1. Attacks one enemy 2 times and each hit has a 30% chance of placing a Leech debuff for 2 turns. For those of you who don't know what the Leech debuff is, whenever somebody from your team attacks an enemy with the Leech debuff, they heal 18% of the damage that they dealt to that enemy. So in a way, it becomes like having the lifesteal gear without actually wearing that equipment. You can see how the leveling up helped. There was an increase in damage and an increase in assigning the Leech debuff. Skill number 2. Attacks all enemies and has an 80% chance of placing a 60% decreased defense debuff for 2 turns. This is really amazing. Number 1, it attacks all enemies and there's a very good chance you're going to place a very high decreased defense debuff on all of them because that's an 80% chance and 60% decreased defense is pretty high. Now the damage is based on attack and that was the same in the first skill as well. However, that's not the primary objective of Deacon Armstrong. He's a really amazing support champion, not really a nuker. You can see how leveling up helped. There was an increase in damage. There was an increase in assigning that debuff by 20%, which is definitely amazing. And then level 6 decreased the cooldown by 1, so you can release this very often. Now the cool thing about Deacon Armstrong is that he can actually go through those turns pretty fast, and that's because of skill number 3. Fills the turn meter of all allies by 15% and decreases the turn meters of all enemies by 15%. And grants an extra turn. Now when you get an extra turn, what really happens is that you are technically reducing the cooldown of all of your skills because now it's another turn that you got. So it's almost as if your turn meter filled all the way through and you got another turn. This ensures that he can release skill 2 very often because he gets so many turns. Now the fact that you're increasing your allies' turn meters while also decreasing the enemy's turn meters is also pretty significant, and I want you to think of it this way. Let's say Deacon Armstrong is one of your fastest champions. You make sure that Deacon Armstrong has extremely high speed so that Deacon Armstrong always goes first. What happens then? You use this skill and all of a sudden the turn meters of all of your champions are now 100%, right? 15% is a pretty decent jump, while you also make sure that the enemy's turn meters, who might have been close to 100%, are now reduced to 85% or lower. What does that mean? That means that because of Deacon Armstrong going first and releasing this skill, you have almost guaranteed that the rest of your champions are also going to go first, and therefore perhaps assign a lot of debuffs to the enemy, or if you have an Alice like me, perhaps kill off a lot of your enemies just like that. Going first in arena battles is so important that I can say that the chances of me winning battles where I'm going first is very high versus any battles where I'm going second. And sometimes going second means that my whole team is dead before I even get the first turn. So this is an essential skill for Deacon Armstrong, and I cannot emphasize how important it is because it can actually change the game for you. The summary of the skills: number 1, Leech. Making sure that you're able to heal some of your champions because of assigning this debuff. Number 2, decrease defense, and that's a lot of defense that you're decreasing of the enemies and all of the enemies potentially, allowing your champions to hit them much harder. And the third one, which helps make sure that your allies are able to fill up their turn meters more often than the enemies and potentially go first in arena battles. Combine these together and that makes Deacon Armstrong so strong. Now there's still the aura and blessing that we need to talk about, so let's go to that. The aura skill increases ally speed in all battles, not just arena, by 19%. That's really cool. You can use him in PvE, you can use him in PvP. Although if you're going in arena, you probably want to have Sun Wukong as the main champion because his aura skill does give a larger speed for arena battles in particular. But if you don't have a Sun Wukong or you don't have another speed champion that gives more than this, might as well use him everywhere. And finally the blessing, and you might have noticed that I have Deacon Armstrong at 6 red stars. That means that the blessing is also 6 red star, which is really cool. So what blessing did I choose? Cruelty. And you'll see why this is so cool with Deacon Armstrong. Whenever this champion hits an enemy, decreases their defense until the end of the round. and it occurs once per hit. Not once per turn, once per hit. Okay, if multiple champions have the blessing, they cannot decrease a single champion's defense by more than 40%, or for bosses, the limit is 20%. And this is at 6 red star, by the way. So you can have multiple champions with this blessing, but remember that the cap of decreasing defense remains the same. Just that, of course, if you do have 2 champions, you do end up getting to that maximum much faster. Though honestly, the benefit of that is not that high. You might as well choose a different blessing if you already have Deacon Armstrong with Cruelty, or if you have another champion that you prefer with Cruelty. What else? Let's go to the stat bonuses we're getting. HP 5500, attack 600, defense 450, critical damage 30%, res 60, accuracy, and accuracy is very important for Deacon Armstrong, 60 as well, and speed, which is also very important for Deacon Armstrong, 10. And I'll talk to you why accuracy and speed is so important, although you probably have put that together looking at the skills that Deacon Armstrong has. Now, if you go down to the actual stars and the relative effects, you can see that 1 star was giving us 1% per hit decrease in defense to a maximum of 10 for champions and 5 for bosses. Then at 3 star, the 1% was the same, but now you could go up to 20% for champions and 10% decreased defense for bosses. And then at 5 star, now you get 2% per hit, up to 30% for champions, 15% for bosses, and 6 star, which is a huge jump, 4% per hit, up to 40% for champions and 20% for bosses. Which means that in terms of bosses, you only have to hit the boss 5 times, but in terms of enemy champions, you need to hit 10 times to reach the 40% decreased defense. Now remember, skill number 2 attacks all enemies, and hence you've already assigned 4% decreased defense through Cruelty, and then you probably also assigned a 60% decreased defense debuff on them, so you basically shredded through a lot of their defense in one hit. Now, when you do skill number 1, which attacks an enemy twice, you're adding another 8% decreased defense on them, while also possibly putting a Leech debuff on them. So do you see how you've basically ruined the enemy's defense, right? Just think it through. You release skill 2 once and then skill 1 twice. You've hit the enemy 5 times already. That's 20% decreased defense. And skill 2 has already put a 60% decreased defense on them. Your enemy doesn't really have much defense left. And that's basically what I'm going for in this build, right? Deacon Armstrong, I want him to just remove enemies' defense and make them really easy for my other champions to destroy them. So now you have a pretty clear picture of what we're looking for. Next up, let's go to his equipment, and you can see the priority that I've placed, and it's going to be fairly visible when you take a look at the equipment that he's wearing. It's no doubt that one very important thing is accuracy. If you have all of these amazing debuffs, but you're never able to place them because the enemy resists them all the time, you're really missing out on the benefit of Deacon Armstrong's strength. Accuracy is very important. You want to land those debuffs on the enemies. Therefore, you want to have equipment that supports accuracy. The other thing I talked about was skill number 3, and I told you how important it is for Deacon Armstrong to go first so that number 1, he can debuff the enemies, put the decreased defense on them before you can actually attack them with your main damage dealing champions, but also he can make sure that the rest of your champions go first before the enemy. So him being fast is very important. And also remember, speed means how often Deacon Armstrong goes. With his ability of Cruelty and reducing enemy champions' defense per hit, you want to make sure he's hitting the enemy all the time. Therefore, 2 major priorities: speed and accuracy. So let's take a look at how I'm trying to prioritize speed and accuracy in Deacon Armstrong's build. You can see the weapon, I'm getting 9 speed and 28 accuracy. The helmet is giving me 19 speed, and you can see I'm not getting any accuracy from this because you know what, the speed was so attractive that I really didn't care about accuracy in this particular helmet because the trade-off would have been too high. Shield, I'm getting 11 speed and 24 accuracy. The gloves are giving me 14 speed. Now the chest plate, you can see that the accuracy is the main stat. I'm getting 96 right from there, and speed I'm getting 7 from the substats. And as you can imagine, no way I'm missing out on speed boots. That's a lot of speed, 45, and I'm also getting 14 accuracy along with it. When you go to the ring amulets and banners, it was pretty much about what I had available. The amulet is giving me 22 accuracy, but I'm not getting speed from there. And the banner, I made sure to choose an accuracy banner. So the primary stat is accuracy. Now, ideally, I'd want all of the equipment to have both speed and accuracy, like the weapon. However, that's not always the case. It's really hard to find and it's still a struggle. That being said, as I keep getting better equipment, if I get equipment that has both speed and accuracy, and both of those are the stats that are upgraded as I level them up, I'd be really happy because I do want Deacon Armstrong to have an even higher speed and even higher accuracy. Right now, you can see that the accuracy is 365. That's fairly high in my opinion. Not a lot of people are able to resist him. That being said, accuracy is pretty much dependent on the enemies you're facing, because the more res your enemies have, the more accuracy you need to counter it. When it comes to speed, he's currently at 251, and I really do want to make him even faster so that he is faster than the enemies. Now, I didn't talk a lot about the other stats, but I guess, having a little bit of HP and survivability is also good for Deacon Armstrong, and you do see that I do have a reasonable amount of health. It's 47,000. I don't think it's really bad. It allows him to live a little bit longer and hence be able to debuff the enemies more efficiently. Let's go to the Relic, and this is the first time I've actually assigned relics to my champions. I was actually waiting for some sort of a relic tournament or something, but it never came, and I kind of figured that there is probably no relic crafting tournament. I hope. It would be pretty bad if there is, and I used up all of my relic ingredients. But anyhow, you can see the one that I've assigned here. It basically enhances his 10 meter reduction effects by 15%. And remember how important that is. This basically makes him more effective in reducing the enemy's cooldowns, and that's pretty much what I really wanted. You can also see that he's getting 3,185 HP and 16 accuracy, which are two important stats that I've already talked about. Finally, let's go into his masteries, and you can see that there's still a lot of work that needs to be put in here, but I'll also talk about what I'm planning on assigning as I continue getting more of those scrolls. So first one, we're going to talk about the defense tab, and you can see I'm getting 75 defense here, which is good, better survivability. Next one, decreases damage received from area effect attacks by 5%. Again, good for survivability. The next one, heals this champion by 6% of the maximum HP every time an enemy is healed, occurs once per turn. So that's good because it also enhances his survivability. If you're facing an enemy that does a lot of heals, you are also healing yourself fairly often. Next, I'm planning on getting Resurgent, and what this does is that it has a 50% chance of removing one random debuff from this champion when they lose 25% of their maximum HP or more in a single enemy skill. So perhaps, you might be frozen or something and someone does a large damage to you, and hence you can remove that frozen debuff and attack the enemy in the next turn. Next, I'm planning on getting this. Reduces the damage this champion receives from a specific enemy by 0.75% with each hit taken from that enemy. And it can go up to 6% from each enemy. So as you keep getting hit more and more, you get stronger against them, and Deacon Armstrong, well, he's also reducing the enemy's defense at the same time, so long battles are sort of beneficial for you. So not only do you keep decreasing their defense, you're also getting stronger against them. And then finally, I'm going to get this one, 50% chance to counterattack when this champion loses 25% of their maximum HP or more from a single enemy's skill. So if you get hit by a big hit, you can counterattack the enemy and perhaps reduce their defense in the process. Then going to the support tab, you can see getting accuracy plus 10, obviously a priority for us. And then heals the champion by 10% of their maximum HP the first time an enemy is killed in each round. So a little bit of a healing that you get for free. Then increases accuracy by 20 when you have no skills on cooldown. Then increases accuracy by 4 for each enemy alive. And if you have 4 enemies or more that are alive at the same time, you get 16 additional accuracy. Then I plan on getting the Lore of Steel. Increases base stats set bonuses of all artifact sets that increase base stats by 15%. Therefore, since I'm using the speed set, this will increase my speed by a bit. Then this one decreases the target's turn meter when this champion hits them with the default skill for the first time. Decreases the turn meter by 20% with single target skills and 5% with area effect skills. And it occurs once per target. Next, I want to get the sniper, and what this does is it increases the chances of placing any debuff from skills or artifacts by 5%. So increasing the chances of placing the defense debuff and the leech debuff. Next one, 30% chance of extending the duration of any debuff cast by this champion by 1 turn. And finally, accuracy plus 50. No doubt, that's very important for our champion because you don't want to get resisted by those high resistance enemies. Now, one thing that really confused me when it came to cruelty was that it mentioned that it decreases the defense until the end of the round. And I'm sure some of you may be thinking round means, once all of our champions have attacked and their turn starts again, that's the end of the round. And you must be thinking there's no way I can do 10 hits before the enemy even gets 1 hit, right? Because that's probably what you're thinking a round is. Each time the enemy gets a turn, that's the end of a round. Well, that's not really the case. If you go into the arena, and let's say there's this easy enemy that I'm fighting, you can see what it says at the top right. Round 1 of 1. So the whole battle is completely 1 round. Now you can see that did he attack and it's still saying round 1 of 1. Alternatively, if we go into one of the campaign battles, you can see that it says round 1 of 3. So this whole thing is 1 round. Going to the next set of enemies, that's the second round, and the last set of enemies is round 3. Essentially meaning that a round doesn't end until either all of your champions are dead or all of the enemy's champions are dead. So a full arena battle is 1 round and a full battle against a boss is also 1 round. In other words, cruelty, the decreased defense, it stays throughout the whole battle. It doesn't get reset every time the enemy's turn starts. Alright, and that's pretty much all I wanted to cover about Deacon Armstrong. You can see how he is such an important champion that can really change the game for you. Make sure to build him up with a lot of speed and a lot of accuracy to get the best benefit out of him. And before you go, I want you to know that you can save a lot of money using my promo code with Aptoide. We're talking 10 to 35% cashbacks on every single purchase that you make. And I know you probably spend a lot of money in the game, so you can imagine the savings that you can get if you start using our promo code with Aptoide. The steps are very simple. I'm linking a video to the description of this video, so if you scroll down you can find it there, or you can click the button that's going to appear at the top right of the screen that'll take you to that video and it will guide you through the process. Now if you want, you can join our Discord, and the link of that is also in the description of this video, and you can ask me there and I can guide you through the process personally as well. Thank you so much. If you liked the video, please like it, please subscribe to our channel, comment below on some other champions that you think are really good and you would like a video on them, and perhaps if I get them I will make a video on them too. Thank you so much, and I hope to see you in the next one.